I think I know what we call your truck now. It's
What
the
do we
Argo.
call it? The Argo. Okay. You know what? That's
Yeah.
the name I was looking for in my head a few weeks ago when we were talking about this. I couldn't think of it.
It's the Argo.
But yeah, it's the Argo.
Yeah, I like that.
That's cool.
It's the Space Dune buggy.
Yep. And then I'm going to get a Cadillac and call it the Captain's Yacht.
There you go.
All right, so we've got 3 people in the live studio audience. We've got Species 5618, we've got Lumberjack Daryl, and we've got Bronson. Oh, and now we've got
4.
Gentry as well. Look at this.
Wow.
So if you are in the live chat, and you've got video on, that is actually being recorded, just like it is for our 3 beautiful faces. So just FYI, it's fine. I don't care, whatever. I'm just letting you know. And I'm going to keep moving the windows around as we record this to make sure everybody can see everybody. Cool. So that's
almost
awesome.
like Hollywood Squares.
Yeah, it's going to be a giant square fest on the YouTube channel when we see this recording. So that's cool. With that said, I'm going to play the intro real quick and we'll get started. Yeah, you guys probably can't. I don't know if you guys are even looking at the video side of it, but yeah, here's the intro.
Trekcast.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Trekcast, the galaxy's most unpredictable Star Trek podcast. I am Chad is wrong. That is Daniel El Ocho Reyes. A little Ocho.
Little
God, I get that
Ocho.
wrong every time. See, I'm Chad is wrong. It's Chad is wrong. Little
It's like
Ocho.
the worst Spanish I've ever heard.
Yeah, and then Dan. I mean, what are we? Buzz Lightyear.
No.
I don't know.
No, not even Star Trek names. I mean, we couldn't even.
Call me whatever you want.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Careful.
Just don't call me late for dinner.
I was gonna say I've seen
It's
you in
been
the
one
boxer,
weekend together in Chicago, and all of a sudden it's call me whatever you want.
I know. It's amazing. The man on man love was amazing.
It was. I tell you.
It was. It's fabulous.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be part of this live studio audience like these 4 other individuals are, you can make sure to join us over on the Discord channel. And you too will get your entire basement background, whatever, on the feed while you're drinking coffee. So thank you, Species 5618. It's the same thing as my background too. It's okay. I do have you all server muted. We'll bring you on here in a minute, but just so you know, when you do join the live channel, I do server mute. And, there's Gentry.
Whoa!
Now he's look at Gentry.
The gravity plating is failing wherever he is.
Oh no.
He's like on a brick wall, like he's about to do a stand-up comedy show.
That's true.
That's amazing.
He's like, what's the deal with grape nuts? No grapes, no nuts.
Okay, Jerry. That's pretty good. I like that.
Nice.
Man, we're starting to show off with a bang. I love it.
Yeah, punchy.
What has been going on this past week? Do you want to just hop into the news and do all the punchiness as we go, or?
I mean, it's what we do. So yeah, might as well.
That's what we do. I mean, we should stick to the format.
What format?
Attention all hands.
It's time for Star Trek news. Ooh, we could just say it along. Say it along.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
In unison, everybody. Go for it.
So it has been a slow news week, but I found some weed nuggets.
Oh,
so here we go. First news story comes to us from the Coloradoan.com, and this is how slow it is. There is a NOCO, North Colorado distillery, that is selling a ton of their whiskey right now because they were featured in the April 6th episode of Picard. They are called NOCO Distillery. They had a giant bottle of whiskey in there. They're very excited that they're selling more bottles. And they've also have appeared in other things like the Avengers movies. So, yeah.
Huh.
It's not like they were hurting for money before.
Product placement.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were also in the new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot. They were on Netflix's Lucifer. Yeah. So I don't know how the guy can tell the difference that all of a sudden his Picard is making money for him, but whatever.
No, he's just saying that to be nice.
Yeah. Or get more. Or get more publicity.
Or get
by
even
saying
more
that.
publicity, right? There is no such thing as bad publicity. There's just more merchandising.
You know, that used to be true. I'm not so sure anymore. I mean, ask Will Smith.
Right.
Oh yeah. Well, that's all gonna.
I
blow
mean, the
over,
world
though.
is
Or Kevin
the world
Spacey.
is just falling apart. Yeah, Kevin Spacey. There you go.
Well, that's not bad. That wasn't advertising. Neither one of those things were advertising.
But there
Well,
was
it's
publicity.
not advertising; it's publicity. There's
Yeah,
no such
yeah.
thing. The phrase is "there's no such thing as bad
That's true.
publicity,"
That's
and
true.
you know, I don't know. Things have changed.
They have.
Things have changed. Ask Amber Heard. Ask. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Woo.
Well, speaking of
What a
bad press,
week.
our next news story comes to us from trekmovie.com, and Wil Wheaton has his post-Nemesis Wesley headcanon, and he also has a Lower Decks pitch. So, yeah, I brought this up because I thought it was kind of funny. So, he said that when Nemesis was written, he did go to speak to the screenwriter and was like, hey, so if Wesley shows up, people are going to ask me like a ton of questions for like the rest of my life. What's the deal here? Am I the traveler? Am I not? What do I tell people? And that the screenwriter basically told him, let the audience figure it out for themselves.
Because screw
I'm not
you.
doing it.
I said you want to
Yeah,
be
I
nicer
know.
to Wil Wheaton.
Having seen Nemesis, I'm pretty sure the screenwriter said, "Who gives a shit?" You know.
Probably. I imagine
Tell
that was the
whatever you want.
real.
Tell him Wesley joined the circus. I don't care. I'm just,
Yeah,
they gave me a
yeah.
budget. They gave me a script. I'm gonna make a movie.
Nobody
Right.
cares about what Wesley Crusher is doing.
Yeah. Except
Will
that
Wheaton
everybody cares.
is you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
No, we
Will
all
Wheaton
care.
cares.
Everybody cares.
Will Wheaton
Everybody
cares.
cares, but
Yeah.
I care.
I'm saying at that time,
I
yeah.
care. Honestly, I care. I saw him there in his Starfleet dress uniform, and I'm one of the guys who said, "Whoa,
Yeah.
what's going on with that?"
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And why isn't Worf playing golf with Martok right now? He has no business being in this movie.
Yeah. So basically it's a big long rambling story, but essentially what it boils down to is that Wesley still is a Time Lord of a sorts, either with the Traveler or not. He says that's up for debate. But that he knew going to the wedding was an important thing, and he decided to go, and he thought that that Wesley would have thought, do I show up as basically a god, or do I just wear a uniform and kind of
Oh
blend in and just
Lord.
hang out with my friends?
Oh Lord. I just want to roll
Yeah.
my eyes at that.
Yeah. So that's his headcanon,
Mm.
right? Okay.
Well,
Then yeah.
he should be thrilled, and he should count his lucky stars that he's not in Picard or Discovery or anything else, because they would just kill him off or ruin his character. Like
See
Q.
Egypt.
Yeah, or Q.
Yeah. Also, he gave his pitch to be on Lower Decks because apparently he wants to be on that show. Which honestly, who wouldn't want to be? That show.
Oh
looks
yeah,
like
that
fun.
show's hilarious. Yeah, you can do all kinds of funny things there. And again, like Dan coined the phrase a long time ago, it's canon in but not canon out. So I mean, it's
Right.
It's perfect. It's perfect to have him in there and just be a punching bag. But I don't know if Wil Wheaton would want to be that.
Well, his pitch is that Wesley just shows up because he's again a Time Lord, and the entire time he just wants to impress Mariner. Not because he has like romantic feelings for her or anything, just because he
Yeah.
thinks she's cool. And Mariner just does not care. Is like, whatever, dude.
See, that's perfect.
And then Boimler basically is just the nerd for Wesley and
Oh,
just
sure.
loves Wesley.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
See, that fits. That fits.
Yeah. So he says he's gonna pitch it to Mike Mahan, and we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, those are his pitches.
They should put Wesley in there without involving Wil Wheaton at all, like a non-speaking role. Just have him. He's got a falafel cart outside of Starfleet Academy, and he's just selling falafels.
Oh, even better, even better. We already had the statue of Starfleet's most important person ever, right? Miles
Yeah.
O'Brien.
Miles,
now
yeah.
we should have like a statue of Starfleet's biggest disappointment ever. And people be like, "Why?
Yeah.
What happened? What did he do?" You know,
It's like the Hall of Shame, and it's
Yeah.
like Wesley and
you just see the
Alexander.
name on the plaque.
Alexander.
Keiko O'Brien.
Yeah. Your tour guide is Jake.
Oh, Lord. Oh, poor Jake. I like Jake.
Yeah.
I did not
I
like
like
his
Jake
character
too,
at first,
but
but I came to like Jake. Kind of like Nog and everybody else on that show. I mean, there were so many characters at the beginning of DS9. I was like, I don't care for grew to love them. Like Kira, I couldn't stand Kira.
you know
in
who
season
doesn't
1.
even get in the Hall of Shame and probably should? Molly.
Oh, jeez.
Molly.
Which version of Molly? Molly on the planet when she's
the werewolf Molly, whatever she was.
Yeah, whatever she was. She was a barbarian teenager or something.
Yeah, that one.
That kid
All right.
was put through hell about as much as O'Brien was.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
All right. Well, our last news story comes to us from also Trek Movie, and it is Nicholas Myers says Theta Alpha 5, the Star Trek miniseries about Khan, is still, quote, just sitting there. So apparently he took to Instagram earlier this week and just answered a bunch of fan questions just to do it. It's just him talking into a screen, which is kind of funny. And he says that he turned in a script for the SETI Alpha 5 concept and miniseries. He says he thinks it turned out pretty good. Well, he wrote it, so of course he thinks it turned out pretty good.
Sure.
And he says, I haven't heard from anybody, and that's the end of it. So we had just talked about this a couple weeks ago, like mentioned it. So I thought I would, since there's an update, I would bring it up. And the update is there's no update.
That's a hell of a news segment there, little Ocho. Here's an update
Oh,
about
dude,
no update about something no one talked about, and here's no update on it.
Well, he talked about it. He's just trying to keep it alive, man. Which good for him.
Yeah,
good for trying.
Kind of like Worf trying to keep things alive for 20 years. Here's my next pitch for Worf.
Did you see that video I posted about like the Orville outtakes?
Yeah, I did.
And what is that guy's name? Clayton or
Bortus?
The wannabe Clayton? Bortus, yeah.
Bortus and Clayton.
Yeah.
Your failure speaks for itself.
I need that clip. Someone get me that audio clip. I'll put it on the soundboard. I can't wait for it either. What is it? Next month? Next month? 2 months? What?
No,
June?
it's
sometime
like June,
this decade,
right?
Yeah, it's June.
I think it's June now. Yeah.
And at this point, I feel like it's
Allegedly.
going to be the only season they're going to give us.
I think it's done after this. Honestly,
Yeah.
I hope not.
I hope not.
If it is, I hope they like give it a send off of some sort, not just.
Yeah.
It doesn't end like this show where we're just like, I think that's the end.
End of the podcast. End of that episode. Anyway. Yeah.
Episodes. Yeah, we're like, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. All right, see you next time.
Yep. See you next week. Oh well.
All right. Well, that's all the news. So.
Okay, let's get back into the feedback. We got a lot of guys here. Let's talk.
Hailing frequencies.
Yeah.
Open.
I will go through and unserver mute everybody, which at some point I'll stop being lazy and I'll do roles to where automatically when you join the voice channel, you will be muted until you have a certain set of roles to where you can talk in the live studio audience. So, and then it's a button push instead of having to push each individual button. But anyway, we'll figure that out later. Gentry, you're muted, but you can talk whenever you want. Species, you first, since you're on video. What's up, man? How you been doing?
Hey, good morning. Name's Terrence. So I don't know if anyone's recognized the species 5618.
Yeah, that's true. I keep forgetting that.
Humans.
so many different names on Discord and alt names and all this other stuff. I can't. It's impossible.
And Chad is cheating on us with another podcast. So there's that.
I do.
Yeah.
Hey,
what's the species number?
I had
And
37
which
people in that
species is it?
studio audience on Thursday. So hey.
It's 5618 human alpha quadrant.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So,
Nice.
yeah, it's actually pretty simple.
I've heard of them.
So yeah, representing.
Nice.
I got this shirt at the experience years ago. So it's one of those shirts that I
What's
take out on special occasions. The 7 of 9 We Are Borg shirt.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
Yep.
So,
Nice.
but no, by the way, I just had to say is that was awesome. You guys finally got to meet, so that was kind of cool. But with respect to Picard, I'm kind of getting the feeling like this year they we have enough stories for 6 episodes. Great, but the studio wants 10. Okay, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, definitely.
yeah, that's where I'll leave it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
I agree.
Talk about it. Yeah.
There's something off with this season. I don't know what it is, but there's something off with this season. So anyway, Lumberjack, what about you, man? How are things going for you, Daryl?
Oh, not too bad. Just tune in and see what the shenanigans are today.
Always something. I
Oh,
do
yeah.
have a voicemail to play that I forgot to play, I think, last week. You guys tell me maybe I'll play it twice and have forgotten. But anyway.
Yeah. Did you guys see the clips going around? Maybe it was on Instagram, but it showed the synopsis of the first 5 episodes of Strange New Worlds. It gave a basic breakdown for each episode. From what I saw, it sounds like classic Trek episodes, like meteor coming to a planet.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see
Yep.
this.
I didn't see the breakdown.
Oh, yeah.
No, but that sounds great.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I saw that. Excited about that.
Yeah, I can't wait for that show.
Definitely looks like Trek. Sounds like Treks, but we'll wait and see, I guess.
Yeah. High hopes for it. Maybe lessons learned here, and they've done something right. We'll see.
Well, it has Pike at the helm, and that was one of the good things about Star Trek Discovery Season 2, so.
Yeah, I was talking to someone. Who was I talking to about that? Just in this. Oh, I know who I was talking to. I went into a place when I was in Chicago, back in Chicago again, and it was a machine tool distributor, one of my customers, and he has a Star Trek: The Next Generation pinball machine in his front lobby. So instead of talking business, we talked Trek for like an hour.
Oh, nice.
And he was telling me how much he loved the first and a little bit of the second season of Disco, and then just couldn't stand it from there on out. What he loved was J6 Isaacs. He wanted him around. What he loved was the mirror universe. He was actually okay with a different take on the Klingons because it was interesting at least. There was action. And then it just devolved into nothing but a bunch of feelings, and he can't take that. So, well, I mean, I have to agree. If you go back now with multiple seasons of Disco, if you go back and you watch that first 2 seasons or first season and a half, it feels totally different now. It really does. It's not quite as bad compared to what they've been putting out.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing. It's that as we were watching it, we were like, oh man, I really hope this gets better. Because I don't like this, and I don't like that, and I don't like this, and I don't like that. And then now looking back, it most certainly did not get better.
Worse.
It went downhill, not uphill.
And now it's like, but now we're like, remember the good old days?
Yeah.
But when it was the good old days, we didn't like it.
I know. It's so weird. It's
So-
like,
I don't know.
I mean, I do like Booker. Like, that's my one saving grace right now. Booker and the cat.
Okay, but anyway, I don't want to
I
go on.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Everything they've done in Disco is they've taken bad characters and made them better, only to make them worse, or they've taken bad characters and made them worse. They did it with Saru. They've done it with Booker. They did it with Tilly. She started off great. They made her worse. They did it with Stamets.
Yeah.
Actually, the only character who was bad, got better, and then stayed better, and only one character has been good the whole time, in my opinion, is Stamets and Jet Reno. Jet Reno, every scene she's in is great.
I was going to say Colbert. Colbert's been pretty decent all around.
Yeah,
Not great, but decent.
Not great, but decent. Yeah, I'm talking about great.
Yeah.
Like, Stamets. The thing I love about Stamets' character is I hated him in the first season, but I hated him for good reason. As in, this guy.
Yeah, he was supposed to be hated.
He's supposed to be hated, right? And he played it so well. And then his character slowly changed and evolved, and I like his character. I like his character a lot. You know who he is. You actually know who that character is. You don't know these other freaking characters.
Now he's Space Bob Saget.
Bad as bad, in person. But anyway, So, Bronson, what about you, man? How are things going for you? Any feedback for us?
No, I'm doing good. Just glad to be back on the live stream, and just it's good to see you guys.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the videos.
You too, man.
You guys in Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh,
I loved all those videos. Yeah.
It was weird going back to Chicago 2 weeks later and being there this last week, and then going into the IHOP and seeing the same waiter again.
Did you go into that Target as well?
I did not. I was all
Yeah.
by myself. Yes, I was as
Yeah,
usual when
yeah.
I'm out and about. I am all by myself. So
You didn't go back to Fat Fats?
I did not go to Fat Fats. No.
Oh
I had
man,
pizza
I would have
soup
gone
though.
back. That place is great.
I know. Well, I'm going to be in Chicago. I'm in Chicago a lot, so I'll go back to
Yeah, I
Fat
know.
Fats for sure. But no, I had
Yeah.
pizza soup. I made sure I have pizza soup again. So
Yeah.
This is your pizza.
I love Meat Lovers Pizza. So when you have a Chicago deep dish and they just stuff it full of meat, it's fantastic. So, but
Love that
All
meat.
right.
I
do have some other feedback. Yeah.
Did I play this voicemail from last week? Because I think I missed
Oh yeah,
it
yeah.
somehow.
Go ahead.
And it's
let's hear it.
it's from Strongbeard. So did we have a voicemail
Okay.
from him last week? I don't think so. This came in on
No, I
April
don't think so.
15th, so I think I just missed it somehow. So here we go. I'll play it. Of course, maybe I won't.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not playing through the. God, it's always something. There we go.
Hey everybody, it's Scott Strongbeard Bouters. Hey, I just wanted to say that to you guys, Chad and Dan and Daniel, had a wonderful time in Chicago at the Mission Chicago. It was fantastic. To the listeners, we just had a fantastic time. Chad, Dan, and Daniel it was just wonderful meeting them. They're kind. They all got a lot of heart. Really had a good time. Had fun meeting Blake and Gentry. You guys were awesome. Just awesome time all around, and I hope we get to do it again sometime. Take care, fellas.
Yep, that was an awesome.
Hailing frequencies.
Oops.
Open.
See, everything's just going goofy here.
Every time is like our first time.
Feels like the first time. Anyway.
Yeah.
No, it was great.
Yeah. No, I know we talked about it at length last week, but I don't care. I'm going to talk about it again. It was a great time, and I can't stop thinking about it.
Yep.
I can't stop thinking about it. I had a blast. I can't wait to do it again. Can't wait to see you two. Can't wait to see everyone else that we met while we were there. And potentially meet other listeners. It was a good time.
Yep.
It was a good time. It reminded me of when I used to go to these things all the time, and just being in a room with 1,000 people who love all the same shit that you love. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's Star Trek, model trains, or guns. You go to a convention and there's 1,000 people in the room who love the same stuff that you do. It's just a real positive feeling, and I can't wait to feel that again. So yeah,
it was great. I did learn a lot from that experience. I walked into it thinking, oh, this will be cool. I'll walk around, I'll tell everybody about the show, I'll hand out stickers and all that. I'm usually a pretty forward going guy. I have no issues with just walking right up to people and talking to them, but I had a hard time doing it for some reason. And Dan was just fantastic. He was all over the place handing out the stickers and all kinds of stuff. So I learned a little bit from that experience. So you've been in one of those before.
Yeah, but the people that I was approaching, were the cosplayers.
Yeah.
Right.
And the reason is, when you go to a convention wearing a costume, you're telling the world, approach me.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's easy. It's easy to strike up a conversation. Just walk up and say, that looks awesome. How'd you make that? That looks awesome. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
How long did this take? What did you use for this? So.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know one of the things the three of us have talked about since then is the next one, what we would do differently at the next one, a little bit of planning ahead of time for the next one, and to have some things with us to give away more than the stickers, which were great, which of course were designed by our own listener, by the way.
Paris designed them. They're cool.
Paris designed them. They are fantastic. We've got shirts that actually
Love
have
them.
that design on it. I have one, and I didn't even wear it.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I was
I think
there
I
the
know
whole
what we
week
need to do
before
next
for
time.
work, so I didn't even think about packing the Trekcast gear. But that's definitely what needs to happen, other than the PC and everything else. God, if I have to ship that somewhere, that's not going to work.
So we need uniforms, and then we need a giant, a 3-wheel tandem bike, or like a 3-person tandem bike, and we can just ride around the convention. in our uniforms.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Or one of those big strollers for like triplets.
Yes.
And we have Gentry push us around like we're his kids.
Yes. Perfect.
You know, and
Perfect.
Scott's standing next to him, just handing us chicken tendies to keep us quiet.
Oh, I have a dumb idea. Because there's 3 of us. We dress like the chipmunks and we just go to the convention like that.
Oh Lord.
God.
Or,
I think Dan's vetoing that.
I think even
Yeah,
better
definitely.
is we go like what's that? What was the planet? What episode was that with the planet where Wesley almost got killed because he fell into a flower bed? They all head on the
Oh
white.
God,
Yeah,
those
I'm
people
not-
in their
I'm not-
weird.
Let's all,
I'm
let's
not
all go
dressing
wear
like those people.
white togas.
No, thank you.
I mean, that would be perfect for the Men of Trekcast.
God, I
calendar.
feel like you already have that outfit that you don't need to go shopping for it. That's
don't
what we
call-
call Tuesday for you.
I don't cosplay often, but when I do it in the nude.
Oh no!
Don't challenge me, man. I'll do this podcast nude next week.
No.
Challenge accepted.
Tune in next week to our OnlyFans for Dan podcast naked.
We will definitely be streaming that live on YouTube.
We'll get banned.
Exactly, it'll get taken down. I think
Yeah.
Dan's got an issue with his equipment or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
All of a sudden, he took his headset off. He's
It's
got
okay.
his picture of when we were in Chicago. I love it.
Yeah. I do got some feedback from Commander Felton.
Okay.
He says, "Sorry guys, I've been out of contact for a while. I was on the other side of the Cardassian Empire, checking out Felton Prime, and my subspace communicator was out of commission. Really, my job just relocated me to Huntsville, Alabama from Washington, D.C., which changed my commute from over 2 hours a day to 20 minutes. So it was harder to keep up with the podcast. He's been watching us on YouTube. He's glad the Chicago meetup went well, and he loves the podcast, and he's glad to be back.
Commander Felton, thank you.
Oh,
so
look at
much
that.
for
He took his shirt off.
Yeah, he did. That's what he was doing. He took his shirt off so you can see his manly tattoos.
Not just my shirt, boys.
How are you going to rescue dogs now?
That'll be interesting. All of a sudden, he's going to be on the next episode of Cops. Bad boys, what you gonna do? Watch as this man jumps out of his shuttlecraft naked. With
It won't be
headsets on,
Cops. It'll
as
be
if
those
he was
like
doing some sort of show, and then he runs after this dog.
It's gonna be those. Remember those videos? Too Hots for TV Cops. It'll be that.
YouTubers gone wild.
Yeah.
Holy cow! This show has gone so
When
off
Dan's
the rails.
attack.
Oh Lord.
Nice.
Oh boy.
Nice. What else? I did post in the group that we were recording, and I also put a question up. I found a meme that talked a lot about how it was on the Mary Sue that a lot of men severely are overconfident in their ability to fight a goose. Yeah. And the great thing about our group is virtually every dude had a very healthy respect and fear of goose and geese, and they all basically just said, "Stay away, don't try to fight them."
Yep.
Nasty.
Yeah,
They are nasty.
Yeah.
They are vicious.
If it came down to it, I think I could best the goose, but it's not a fight I'm looking for.
No,
Man, you mess with one goose, you get the whole flock. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You might take one down, but the rest are going to come. So
I'll flock them up. I'll flock them up good.
On our Instagram poll, 64% of the respondents said, "I bow before the mighty goose." Whereas 18% said they could take 12 or more, and another 18% said that they could take 6 to 12 of them. So there you go.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, those people are lying to themselves.
The mighty bird of prey.
Yes, and exactly. We did have some questions. Let me pull that up on the Instagram as well. So let's see. Pulling it up. One question was, yeah, exactly. So I got it. One question was, why did they hire a team of writers for Picard that apparently never watched Star Trek or have no appreciation for canon, and destroying the canon of every TNG character? I don't know, dude. Welcome to the internet. Everybody's mad about that.
Welcome to the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, everyone else was just talking about Goose. Or Geese.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, playing that little Jeopardy theme song sound actually makes me. We should do another Jeopardy show. We should do another round.
We should.
And when we do it, we should do a couple of rounds where we do maybe we do 3 of them because there's 3 people in a Jeopardy competition. So we do 3 rounds, and then the winner from each round does a championship round and then gets a prize. The championship gets some sort of prize.
We could do a tournament.
Do you think we could get LeVar Burton to
host it?
Do it for us?
Yeah, he got turned down from the main gig, so sure, why not?
Oh my God, maybe.
And here's what I would want to do as a prize. I'm gonna put Scott on record. Sell me another one of these. Sell me another one of these. I'll buy it from you, and that'll be the prize.
That's a great idea.
Yep.
All right.
Anyway, we'll figure that out. That'll be something we can do probably over the summertime once we get through Strange New Worlds, because obviously we're gonna have.
We'll have some time in between.
Yeah, and there's nothing saying you can't do a show in between all that, but.
Yeah, we do. We just normally take breaks in between episodes.
We do, yeah. Because, geez, it's like. Pardon me, I'm sorry. I muted Daryl because he was breathing in the mic and I could hear him. Just so you know, Daryl, I'll get you back on in a minute. But now I'm coughing in the mic. Sorry.
So I just looked it up. We could make a custom championship belt, like Star Trek Jeopardy champion.
Like a WWE wrestling belt? Oh, come on.
Yeah. No, for real. They're like $50.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, so with
that would be kind of funny.
With that, all these things said, all this stuff we're wanting to do and roll out, keep in mind that at some point ads are going to start on the show. I'll just warn everybody about that, and we'll try to keep them as little as possible, but those ads will bring in some revenue to be able to do these kinds of things. So,
yeah.
We
got to talk about that off.
Yeah, that's fine. I just want to make sure listeners know that that's coming. Let's go into topic at this point. We ready?
Yeah, we're in it.
Yeah, we're flying along. Here we go.
Talking about Star Trek in this week's topic. Talking about the Star Trek in this week's topic.
And we've talked about doing new bumpers too at some point and updating and refreshing all of that. So we'll work on that too whenever I have free time.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
What free time?
Yeah.
There's no such thing. Anyway. Obviously, we're talking about Picard.
So we had an episode.
Yeah, we're talking about Picard. Again. In these episodes, man.
So, want to recap it real quick for us?
Yeah, you got one pulled up?
No.
Okay, so
I thought you had something. So
no, I don't have anything pulled up. I'm gonna just pull off the top of my head.
Okay.
God, now I'm trying to think back because I just watched this the other night and then I watched Taylor right after it. Shit.
So they know that Girardi is basically the Borg Queen, or the Borg Queen's trying to take her over, and they're on the hunt for her.
Yep.
And she's in no parking lot that they found, and
there's like 3 stories going on in this episode all at the same time, and none of them really connect. You've got right? So for this episode,
it's their Empire Strikes Back. All the little teams are doing their own thing,
right?
Yeah.
And you've got Seven and what's her name?
Raffi?
Yeah,
your favorite.
Raffi, my favorite. This is why I can't remember her name. You got Seven and Raffi, which I'm really tired of those two together. They're constantly. It's every scene with them is just another emotional damage scene. It's another one of those over and over again with Uncle Roger. Every scene with them is that over and over again. So, and that's all it was this entire episode. And of course, they got their ass handed to them by Agnes, which was stupid because as soon as they got knocked down, they just laid there and they didn't even try to get back up. Like, really?
I mean, they got knocked down, but they get up again.
They did in that episode, not for like another 20 minutes. It felt like. So that's what happened with them. Of course, Agnes is eating batteries. That was the weirdest thing. They've turned the Borg crane into like a horror movie. I don't know.
Well, they did that in First Contact. The Borg were basically a horror movie.
Not eating battery. Yeah. Anyway.
No, but it was different.
It was different.
Same idea.
The same idea.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a little nitpicky thing, but whatever.
Yeah.
It was weird. So that was the first thing that happened with them trying to chase her down, and they get nowhere with it. Now we know Agnes is pretty much completely the Borg queen. She's barely got a little bit holding on to. That's the only reason that Raffi was not killed. And then, of course, on the other thing going on, the other parallel story is we've still got the Mysteries of the Mind with Picard. And Guinan. But they get captured, and they get captured by an FBI agent who is a total dummy. Like,
Mulder.
What a complete idiot. What a complete idiot that guy turned out to be. They missed that was such a weird, like, it was going like this, like, oh shit, how are they going to get out of this? How are they going to get out of this? How are they going to get out of this? Oh, they just dropped the whole, they just decided, nope, we're just going to get him out of it in 10 seconds by Picard saying 2 sentences.
It was basically Mulder.
It was weird, though. It was weird how they ended that. That was odd. I liked everything that they were doing with that up until that point. It was complete filler. I don't like what they did with Guinan. But
it was filler, and it was a missed opportunity. This guy played another character in a previous iteration,
which they know that's why he was there.
Who the elements of that character fit perfectly into the story being told here, and they completely threw it out the window.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So
no.
I love the fact we're just continuing to do this show now with even less and less clothing on Dan. Now he doesn't have the headsets on. Now he doesn't have the glasses on. He's shirtless. I mean, it's wonderful. As this thing, no, keep. It's fine. Keep, I don't care. I just think I think it's cool.
See, if you guys donate to our Ko-fi account, then Dan can afford shirts.
That's it. Give me some shirts.
Or just listen to the show because we'll have ads. So anyway.
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah, at some point.
So this guy, this FBI agent who apparently was just fired, just like that.
Yeah.
Who was fired, fills the milk crate with stuff, from his desk.
Yeah.
And then he's just allowed access to his prisoner for, one more interview or whatever, one more interaction. That makes zero sense.
Yeah, because he obviously had to have help to get the two of them there. I mean, he didn't just take the two of them there all by himself with no other FBI agents involved.
Yeah, there was a whole SWAT team involved.
Yeah, exactly.
So my question, all right, so he encountered some Vulcans when he was a kid.
Yep.
Was that Carbon Creek? He grew up in Carbon Creek? Was that T'Pol's grandma that he...
See, again, another golden missed opportunity. They could have had
a missed opportunity. Well, a missed opportunity, or just ignoring canon again.
Right.
Cards.
I mean, technically, they're in a different universe.
Yeah, so I mean that part's fine.
Canon.
That part's fine as far as the tie-in,
but this is the divergent point, so it's not a different universe.
No, I mean
about that character.
You're right. In the past, yeah. Well, we've gone through this before, though. This whole thing could just be its own little bubble that Q made. So we say that, but at the same time, it doesn't have to match up because of what Q did. But I get it. It would make sense if it did.
Card specifically said when he was talking to Lily in First Contact, he said that the Vulcans have no interest in Earth because they weren't warp capable. So if they have no interest, why are these two Vulcans there? It's either Carbon Creek or it's another group of Vulcans that accidentally crash landed on Earth, which is just contrived and silly at that point.
Well, they were down by the river fishing.
They were running experiments or doing something with equipment. So it's fine. It's fine for Picard to have said in the past that the Vulcans didn't want to have anything to do with Earth because we didn't have warp technology yet. And yet for the Vulcans to have said that to someone at some point, but then also have all their ulterior motives and do something else. It's not above the Vulcans to lie or to conceal or to hide. So that's fine.
So we literally have 2 more episodes of this season.
We do.
So there's no way this is getting wrapped up. This is going to be a
No,
cliffhanger.
it doesn't. Well,
Yeah.
if it does, it's going to be another season 1. The Klingon War ends because someone holds up a thing and says, "I have a bomb that kills everybody," and they just believe it.
Right. Or Riker shows up with a bunch of ships that are all the same that they just copied and pasted into VFX, and
Or Riker
Yeah.
shows up on a holodeck and says, "That was an interesting story."
Either way, he should
No.
pizza.
no, it's what's his name, Elron, Legolas, whatever his name is. He wakes up and he's like, "Ah, man, that was a
Elron.
weird dream."
Elron?
No, yeah,
You mean LeBron James?
yeah.
What's that?
I don't know.
The little
I've stopped questioning.
the meme of the little kid who says LeBron James all funny. He always says,
I don't know what you're
"LeBron
talking
James."
about, but
Anyway,
okay.
yeah, it's a meme.
Never
Yeah.
seen it.
Anyway, I'm on a different part of the internet than you are.
Yeah, that's okay. So
No, and then of course the other parallel story that's going on with all of this is Crystal Ball and his love relationship with the girl, and I mean just completely throwing out the whole butterfly thing. I'm just going to take him to the ship, and we're going to have him here, and they're just going to come with us to the future at this point because I'm going to marry her, and this is my adopted kid. I mean, we're done. I just made him cake out of
Yeah,
a
for sure.
replicator. I mean, what the fuck? So, I mean, that's filler. That is complete and total filler. I don't understand what's going on over there, other than, he's struggling to get it. I'm struggling to get all the Borg stuff purged out of the computer could happen in 10 seconds, just at the time when they need a transporter somewhere and don't have it anymore, right? So he's on that ship that entire time and hasn't checked the transporters until that moment, 2/3 of the way through this episode. Good job, Crystal Ball.
Well, I don't understand. All right, so there's all kinds of Borg programs in the ship. So the ship works when they need it to not work for storytelling purposes, but
Yep.
it works when
Right.
they need it to work
Yep.
for storytelling purposes.
Yep, that's what it is.
And so Queen Agnes is putting together a Borg SWAT team to go retake the ship because she needs the ship. But she has the ship because all of her programs have disabled the ship. So what does she need the SWAT team for? I don't know. I feel like things just don't make sense.
No.
Well, and I thought they had a great opportunity. So he brings her back to the ship, right? And he's just letting her have free reign, just kind of do whatever you want. Just like, you guys can't hurt anything. It's all in diagnostic mode. One of his holograms could have popped up. She could have confessed her feelings to the hologram, not realizing it's him, not him, right? So then we know that. And then you have like some weird tension, or like now we have some insight into the characters, and it would have been a fun scene. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And he walks in on her in the hologram.
Right.
Right? And she realizes that there's two of him. There's two of you, and then another hologram is like, well, actually, there's four of us. And
Yeah.
there were so many opportunities here, and
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. So many missed opportunities.
Yeah. And it's a shame because I love his character. I like
Yeah.
I like him a lot. He's fun. He's not Jet Reno, but every one of the scenes he's in is better because he's there. And they're just wasting. They're wasting the time. They're wasting the character at this point.
I watched the Wil Wheaton show, and Santiago Cabrera was on there. Rios.
Mm-hmm.
He was on there with Jerry Ryan and Wil Wheaton. Jerry Ryan and Wil Wheaton definitely were just chatting it up and having a good time, and Santiago was very much the third wheel, just awkward at the dinner and didn't know what to talk about.
That's too bad.
But I mean, clearly, like Seven and Will, like they've been friends for a long time.
Oh,
so
sure.
That
Yeah, well, they've been on the convention circuit for 25 years with each other at this point.
Yeah. Right. Whereas he's the new guy, newish, so he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, whatever, dude. Yeah. But it was fun to watch. Nothing earth shattering out of that show this week.
Which that brings me back to something. When you talk about the circuits and all that, I don't know if we mentioned this before, but when we were at Chicago and we were listening to the cast of the few people they had up there on the stage from Disco, when we were watching that, what's his name? Someone came up during the feedback section and was giving a little Q&A session, and was giving a little story about losing. Did he lose his brother? I believe he lost his brother or something like that to cancer, and was talking about how, the show had lifted him up, and he, really appreciated all their efforts and everything. And Booker, I forget his Aja, is that his name?
Oh yeah, David something.
David Aja or something like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
he came down right off the stage and came down and gave that guy a big old hug. And I mean, that just makes me love Booker even more.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, very very heartfelt. That was a nice moment at the convention.
He didn't talk much that whole panel, but like,
no, well, that's what made me think about that because Santiago Rios didn't talk a whole lot either. So
he talks with hug, and that's enough.
That's true.
He talks with the Force and his golden
a hug is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, it was worth. Yeah, he didn't have to say much after that hug. It was like, I love the guy.
That's right.
So
yeah.
But at any rate, so no, yeah, it's again another filler episode to get us to the magic number of 10 in the season. 2 more, and they either they're going to really fast track wrap this thing up for I don't know why. They got a whole nother season, so why not? Why not just stretch it out and leave it as a cliffhanger at this point? But I bet that's not what they do.
I know that they made the big announcement that pretty much the whole TNG cast is coming back. Just remember that may not be all season long. That may be just like 2-3 episodes at most.
Yeah, I just with what they've done with Picard, I'm just sitting here going, why? Why do we need more? Like wrap it up and be done and move on and do something that's interesting. Why do I need more of this?
Who else from that crew is going to be dying?
Yeah. It's wrap their stories up, kill them, finish them off, let them be admirals, retire, whatever. Riker, we've already got a Riker's ending. He just retires politely and peacefully, making his pizzas with his wife and the kids, and that's great. We don't need to know any more about Riker. That's wonderful. Do the same thing with everybody else and have them just retire off into the sunset. We don't have to kill them off. We don't need to see people get shot in the back on a bridge.
Geordi with his love robot and
yeah. Nah, I need to give Geordi a good send off.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know we've had a lot of complaints over the past year about sometimes we get really negative on this show or get angry or get heated or any of that other stuff. I'm still enjoying watching Picard because it's a true mystery as to what in the hell are they going to do. But
not in a good way.
But not in a good way.
What the hell are they going to do?
Exactly. But it's kind of like, man, I just wish they would. Anyway, I'm excited about Strange New Worlds. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's what we keep saying. When I worked at the NBC affiliate, the first 2 years I worked there, they were building a new building, and that we were going to move into. And the running joke was, it's all going to be better in the new building. And then we got to the new building. And I think within the first week, we had an issue with our servers, and we couldn't do the news one day, because the servers were just dead.
Yeah,
and we couldn't play videos. Yeah, so that I feel like that's our Strange New Worlds. It's going to all be better in Strange New Worlds, and then it'll happen, and it'll all be better in Strange New Worlds season 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the problem is you can always say that any show, right? Any show or any character on the show isn't technically for you, right? That it's for a broad audience. And maybe you don't like that particular character, maybe you don't like that particular episode, maybe you don't like that particular series outside of that franchise. Just like with anything else. If you're a Fast and Furious fan, there's a few of those movies that suck and some that are good, right? Or even with Trek. Yeah, I know. Even with Star Trek, you've got sometimes a movie's a clunker and sometimes a movie's great. But at some point you've got to start looking at Trek as the franchise here and say, okay, well, if this season isn't for me, which series is for me? If this character's not for me, then which character is for me? Which one fits, what I like? And at some point, you start to look around and wonder, okay, who are they making these series for? Who is this quote-unquote broad audience?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't tell. I don't have numbers. They don't put out numbers. There's no way for us to know. And obviously, Disco is enough of a hit that they keep making it. Obviously, Disco is enough of a hit that we get all these other shows, and so that makes me happy. I'm fine with that. Look at Lower Decks; it's fantastic. The shorts, I even look back at some of the shorts. I wish we got more of those. Where'd those go? They just disappeared.
But I don't know if you remember the thing that we read about Disco. The reason that it was such a hit, it wasn't that it was the numbers. It was that internationally they were selling the rights to stream it to Amazon and Netflix and whoever. And that money is what was the big hit for Paramount.
Well, of course.
Now that they have, Yeah. Well, yeah, because money is money.
Money's
But-
money.
But
Where can you sell
but
it?
now
If
that
you
they
can
have
sell
their
it, that's
Paramount
good.
Plus internationally, that's when we're going to see the real deal if it's a hit or not.
Yeah, because
if it
obviously
drives
they
in
have
view-
to have the numbers. They have to drive the views. See, that's where I kind of
Right.
go back to the whole streaming thing. We've talked about the streaming wars for years on this show now, and it's always been a little bit of a mystery to me. I understand how a streaming platform makes money. Obviously, subscriptions, right? It's the total number
Right.
of their active subscriptions per month has to exceed
Okay.
whatever their outflow is of cash to pay for that content that's on there, whether it's licensing or anything else. And so it's this weird disconnect, though, between I'm going to make a new show on my own streaming platform and put it out there, right? Whereas you would get ad
Right.
revenue from it because of the total number of people watching it. Well, you already had the money coming in for what you've already got on that channel, on that streaming platform to begin with. Where's the new money come in to pay for what you just put out? Was it already there? The amount of income change at all?
So
Tracking
it's a
that?
cash flow game.
Exactly.
cash flow
That's
game.
what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And being able to
Yeah.
track that and know that and see that is never going to be something that we as the audience can see anymore, like a Nielsen rating was, unless
Well,
that
they
streaming
could, like-
platform just puts it out.
I don't know how much you've been tracking what happened to Netflix this week, right? They've
Nothing.
now announced for the first time. Okay, so for the first time this quarter, they lost subscribers, like 200,000 subscribers, which really, in the grand scheme of things, is not a lot of subscribers.
Not a lot
But it
for them.
cratered the stock market, like the stock, like 40%, something like that.
Huh.
So it was a big deal. So since then, they have announced they're going to try to do a lower tier with ads in it, and they're going to pursue live streaming with like sports and things like that
Okay.
in an attempt to get more viewers.
Sure.
So
And they're
Paramount
gonna
already
crack
has
down on password sharing. Is
What-
the other one.
yeah
What was that?
yeah
They're going to crack down on password sharing.
right.
Well, sure. I mean, yeah.
They have to.
But it wasn't that
Um,
long ago that they said, yeah, you know what? That's just part of the business. That's not something we can worry about. And then they've gone 180 degrees now.
All the streaming services have said that.
Yeah.
So
That sea change was coming at some point when you're no longer the top
Yeah.
dog, or you're not the hottest commodity, or you're looking at a changing playground of who you're in the same sandbox with, So
Well, and I read an interesting stat that kind of blew me away. They were talking about how many households have Amazon Prime, right? Because they pay for the shipping, and with that you get the streaming, you get the music, you get like a bunch of little
it's a
perks.
lot.
But apparently there are more households in America with Amazon Prime than have pets.
Yep.
That's just crazy to me.
Yeah, I can imagine their saturation on Amazon Prime is probably getting close to 80%.
Yeah. But even with that saturation, they're talking about how the NFL is going to have their Thursday night games only on Prime, I guess, this year.
Yep, I heard that.
Right?
Yep.
And the thought is it's going to be the lowest viewing Thursday night football, even though they've got so many potential audience. So like, that's what they're saying. So like, is streaming really the one way to go? Like, should these Star Trek shows maybe be on CBS right now, or maybe on some of their cable channels?
Yeah.
Like, even if you delayed it a year, so like maybe season 1 of Picard is airing right now on CBS, so that if you get Paramount Plus, you get it a year in advance. But if not, if you want to wait, then at least they're making money on CBS.
I don't know if you can let that genie out of the bottle. I think once you're in streaming and everybody expects streaming and people are watching stuff streaming with no ads and can go and pull it up and watch it anytime they want, now you're putting it back on regular network television where you don't quite have that
double
same,
dip. Doesn't matter.
You don't quite have that same, you double dip and now you've watered down your IP. So,
yeah.
And
well,
they
do it.
People
They do
a
it with
reason to go to
Titans, right?
CBS's app to do streaming there, as opposed, or NBC's app to do streaming there, or somebody else's app to do streaming there, as opposed to on your own platform. And so that's where you get into that whole.
You know what? Paramount will find a way to make money. We don't have to worry about it. They will find a way.
Yeah. I can see Dan is just beside himself. He wants out of this conversation so bad.
because we're going to get to a point, we're not going to get to a point. We're there now where there's just too many of these services.
Yeah.
And because of that, people have to make choices. Hey, do you watch this show? No, I don't, because I subscribe to these 4 streaming services. So I have to not subscribe to those 8 streaming services, because I'm not going to subscribe to 12 of them, because A, I'm not going to spend hundreds of dollars a month on streaming services, and B, even if I did, there's not enough time in the day to watch all of these different shows.
Right.
So
yeah, I barely have enough time to keep up with Trek and then watch Halo and that's it.
Yeah.
That's only 2 shows.
I mean, I'm one of those people. I'm resistant to change, usually, when it comes to this stuff. But even me, I've got Netflix, I've got Paramount Plus, I've got Hulu, I've got HBO, Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So there's 5 of them right there. I used the example of 4 a minute ago, but in reality, I have one more than I have 5.
Yep.
And somebody asks,
Disney. If you got Disney and Hulu, chances are you also have ESPN if you want it, because it's part of that bundle.
And I've never logged into it because.
Right. Why would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we canceled the Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN package thing. I think we canceled that this month, so it runs out here in like another 6-7 days. Dropping.
I had Peacock for a month because of WrestleMania, and that was it.
Never had Peacock.
That's the other thing. There's a bunch of shows that I watch on Hulu that are NBC shows, and at some point they're going away and they're going to Peacock. Well, guess what? I'm not going to watch those shows anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm not subscribing to Peacock.
Right. Well, Peacock's got a free tier.
They do.
What's that?
They have a free tier.
Peacock has a free tier.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what is that?
Just ads.
It's free. It's not the new
I know
stuff,
what
but
free means, Daniel. I mean, what is it, like the stuff that, like the current season of something is on there for free? And
no, it's like older seasons of different things, like Cheers or.
But I don't want that. I don't care about that. If I want to watch
That's what
Cheers,
you guys have the Tubi for, or whatever you guys watch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Enough's enough.
I don't have time for all that shit.
We're getting right back where we were with cable.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you want everything, it's $200 a month.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we talked about that a long time ago.
Do that anymore because you can't get the high tier cable package. Streaming is not part of that. You can't get Netflix from your cable company.
Nope. Nor do I want to be able to get Netflix from my cable company. I don't want to do that. I don't even have a cable company here anymore. It's kind of weird.
I kind of do at this point. Because, if they had some sort of streaming broker that could, subscribe to these and repackage them and
oh my God, Dan wants to
they
bring
do.
back the
Sling
bundles.
TV.
Someone hashtag Dan is wrong. Bring back the bundles. Oh my Lord. We
No,
just
they
went
have it.
full
Sling
circle.
TV.
Jesus.
It's like a fraction of cable, and it's cable TV. No, Sling TV, dude.
Yeah, Sling TV.
but you can't get. You can't purchase Hulu through Sling TV.
Oh no.
It used to be, okay, you go to your cable company and there were 3 tiers. You can get this set of channels, this set of channels, or this set of channels.
Yeah.
I'm saying that, we're going to get to the point where there's going to be a broker that you can go through that, this tier you get these streamers, this tier you get these streamers, and this tier you get these streamers.
Yeah.
You want to know something funny? We've talked about streaming more than we talked about Picard.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, folks.
So I do want to mention I saw a couple movies this week that I think were great, and I wanted to highlight.
Oh shit! Here we go.
The first one I watched was Giorgio and the Multiverse of Madness, aka Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, so you did see that?
I did see it.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie.
Is it good?
That may be one of my top favorites of the year. Fun fact about it that most people don't know: it actually stars a very famous actor who has not done a lot of movies since the 80s. I'll butcher his name if I try to pronounce it. Short Round, isn't it? No, Short Round from Temple of Doom.
Oh, Little Short Round, yeah.
Yeah. He plays
Goonies.
Michelle Yeoh's husband. 'Cause he's 50 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$50
crazy.
bill.
That's crazy.
No time for love, Dr. Jones. Yeah.
That is
So,
crazy
yeah.
to think, though. Gee, many Christmas, that
Yeah.
makes me feel old. Holy shit.
Yeah. Apparently, soon after Indiana Jones, he basically stopped doing movies in America because he was not happy with playing stereotypes, is what he said. So he went to Hong Kong to be a fight choreographer.
Good for him. Good
and read this script. Yeah, read this script, loved it, and was part of it. So it's cool.
Nice,
Great
nice.
actor, Yeah. So it's just cool. Like you see him, and you're like, wait a minute, is that? And I Googled it on my phone in the theater. I'm like, oh my god, it's Short Round. So
It's cool that you said he got tired of playing stereotypes right after I yelled $50 bill 3 times.
right.
That makes me feel about this video.
Or that I said that he got tired of playing stereotypes, so he went to Hong Kong to be a fight choreographer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens. So.
Oh Lord! Hey, the money.
But yeah,
he went where the
great-
money
great
is. Let's
film.
just be honest. He's probably, if he's honest with
Yeah,
himself,
yeah.
he went where the money was. Okay, I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
What was that scene with the guy who played Raj on The Big Bang Theory? He made that joke about I don't want to play stereotypical Indians anymore. Someone hands him a couple $100 bills. He goes, "Oh, you pump gas for you?" He goes right to his Indian accent again.
That's funny.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, but that was a great movie. And then last night I had some free time, so I watched the cinematic joy that is Velocipaster, about a priest who turns into a dinosaur and kills people.
Okay, all right. I'm glad you get to watch all these B movies for us, because I just It's amazing when we talk sometimes and you tell me these movies you're watching, and I'm like, how do you even find that shit? How do you even find that? I have no idea. In reality, I honestly think that we live on 2 different internets. I don't know. It doesn't ever come up on my in my world.
I mean, there is the theory that the internet is dead. Have you heard this?
Yes, the internet is dead, and actually everybody's inside their own little individual in their bubbles that's fed to them based on their likes.
That it's mainly bots. That it's mainly bots. You're not interacting with real people.
Oh no, I don't believe that. No. Well, I mean,
No,
I can't.
because I met you guys.
Yeah.
I met you guys. Oh, you're real. Or
Yeah, exactly.
you're one of Soon's children.
That's right.
Lord.
So where I'm gonna write the ship here. Where do you think?
Do
where
it.
do you think this is going? Picard.
Where do we think it's going? Lord, who knows?
Where do you?
I think Soji will die, or whatever her name is now. They've said so
Cora.
many. They've saved so. Yeah, Cora, is that her name? They've said so many names of whoever her sisters were that died. I think she's gonna die somehow. I think what Q gave her was another one of those "it only lasts so long" kind of vials, and she didn't know that. They never clarified that. So when she walks off and she's fine, I don't think she's cured. Well, I don't know. That could be it. We just never find out. I bet you that's what they'll do. They'll leave that totally open-ended. We'll never find out. But Q being Q, it
So
could
I
have
have
been
two.
temporary. She dies.
I have two thoughts about Q dying. One, I think we think of it in our terms, right? So if somebody says that they're dying, we think it'll be in the next few months or weeks or whatever. So we think of it that way. Whereas for a Q, that literally could be eons of him dying.
Sure.
So the time isn't really there.
Yeah, but he doesn't have his power. But he has some of his power.
Right.
But he doesn't have all.
He has
of his
some
power.
of his power.
So
right. It comes and goes.
It has to be shorter than eons, but yeah, I would think.
Yeah. Well, I liken to it like arthritis. Sometimes you got to flare up and you can't do this.
True, that's true. That's a good point.
It's Q arthritis.
Yeah, it's Q.
Yeah.
See, this is where they just ruin Q. I'm sorry, they just ruin Q.
Yeah. His Q thyris. Yeah.
God, what the hell?
Yeah. So he's not clicking. He's literally not clicking.
Yeah.
I think it's going to end with Data dying or Dr. Soong, whatever. In some sort of attempt. Yeah.
See, they've screwed all that up
Sort of
too.
what?
If this is really part of a real timeline, then he's already done the eugenics war thing, and he's already done all this other stuff. But yet he's still walking around free, and like I don't know.
I don't know. We're not doing the Bell riots, apparently.
Apparently not. We kind of went right through that.
Well, there's still a few months off. We looked at the timeline
Yeah.
a few weeks ago. There's still a few months off.
Okay.
Was it
Okay.
months? I thought it was days.
No, it was.
Do you think they planned that, or do you think that just happened to be that's how they wrote it, and they're like, oh, good.
No, it was totally on
They
accident.
set it in this time period on purpose because they've established what's happening in this time period, but they set it far enough away that they don't have to cross over into those events.
So, are you sure
Okay.
that the Europa launch was months before the Bell riots? I thought those two were supposed to be within the same, like, week.
No, they're not.
Okay,
We looked
okay.
it up a few weeks ago.
Okay,
We
okay.
looked it up a few weeks
I just
ago.
forget.
It was
All
a significant amount of time between.
All right.
I don't remember the months, but we figured out the months. We figured out what month they're in right now and what months the Bell riots occurred.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But I don't know. I mean, they're going to have to. This is going to have to be a bubble timeline or a bubble
Yeah.
reality or a discard timeline because, talking about butterflies,
They've ruined it all.
they've ruined it all. I mean, we've got people that are dead. We've got people who know the future. We have people who have been assimilated. We have prisoners that have been freed.
Yep.
There's just like the butterflies are just so huge. So I'm thinking now that if this is a branch timeline that is going to be abandoned, Rios can bring his family with him.
Yeah.
I mean, all it takes is Q
Yeah.
doing that. And
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
if he's
if he can.
if he's restored,
Yeah.
if he's restored by the end of the series. So I mean, they might be able to have their cake and eat it too. In that, if this is an abandoned timeline and the regular, by their actions, they restore the original timeline. She and the kid are both there in the past to live out a version of them is there in the past to live out their lives, and this version comes to the future with Rios, and they're on the spinoff
Or he's
Stargate show with him.
or he stays.
Or he stays in the bubble, but then we don't get the Stargazer spinoff. So I'm hoping it's different.
Yeah.
That she
Yeah.
comes to the future
Does
and has like 600 years of or 300 years of doctoring to catch up on.
Right.
Actually, she doesn't.
Do-
You can give a 21st century doctor a tricorder, and she just suddenly knows what to do. But anyway, that's
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Here,
Well-
take this and do this on his head. What the?
Does
Anyway.
season 3 end with Data making a clone of Rios and be like, we'll keep this one here in the past with us, so you can have that one to be in love with.
pick
Yeah.
one to go to the future with you.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
I don't know. So and that's the other thing I thought about too. Guinan, her new ability to be able to show up like a horror person from the Ring trilogy, only to Picard, kind of in and out with her eyes going side to side. Look over there, look over there, look over there with her eyes. Like I don't know why they had to focus in on that. That was strange. That's like a whole new ability for the listeners or what's their race again?
So
Starts
we're
with
all
an A.
convinced there's going to be a cliffhanger this season, right? So what
A
do you think the
Lorian?
cliffhanger is going to be? Yeah,
The cliffhanger. I'm
I
not
think it's
totally
going to be that
convinced.
Q's.
I'm not convinced there's a cliffhanger.
I am.
If there is a cliffhanger, then this whole thing doesn't get resolved, but it gets resolved by the rest of the TNG crew next season. And we just see
Right.
2 more
That's
episodes
why
of
I
them
think-
stringing it out and having it as a cliffhanger of finally Q is in front of the whole gang. It's saying, I'm going to reset this whole thing, and then can't.
Shoot, is that why they announced them all? That the last shot is the entire TNG crew with Picard and his new crew, and they're like, oh no, and then
and
cut to black
they just continue this whole bullshit thing. Yeah.
And then
For
we
a
don't see Worf, so that we don't see them like what they've done to him yet.
Yeah.
You just see like the background and like part of the sash.
Yeah.
You know, it's Worf.
You see his dreads, the long hair.
Yeah.
You know, guys.
I mean, that's what I would do just to mess with people.
Yep.
Hey, actually, I met Renee Picard once. Did I ever tell you?
No.
Yeah, no. When I was in Las Vegas, I went on this ride, and suddenly I was beamed onto the Enterprise. And Commander William Riker told me that a Klingon from the future had abducted us because Captain Picard's ancestor was in the group of tourists that I was in.
Right.
And Captain Picard disappeared. Did you? All right. So I'm obviously making a joke. Somebody recently put up on YouTube the video from the Star Trek The Experience Klingon encounter, and that was the storyline, is that the Klingons abducted the tourists, because one of them is Captain Picard's ancestor, and that's why Patrick Stewart isn't in any of the video, because he just disappeared up on the bridge because his ancestor was abducted.
He was kidnapped.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So the point is that Picard season 2 is a totally recycled storyline. They've done this before, and God damn it, they should just think of something original.
Well, they got to save John Connor.
Oh Lord. Well, there is no such thing as anything new under the sun. It's just all recycled. Isn't that one of the sayings? There's nothing new under the sun. Yeah.
So do you guys agree with me though that like maybe Renee Picard is not supposed to go on that ship, and that they're messing it up by forcing her to go on?
I can't tell. It could go either way.
Because he was talking about it at the commencement speech. It happened, and it led to the future that we all know.
Yeah.
So it happened. It happened again.
I forgot about that.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So here's my hope, is that, the first few episodes of this show were really good. I really enjoyed what was happening. And then it seems like we've had a lot of filler in the middle that is just passing the time. I think you're correct in that, hey, we can tell this story in 6 episodes. Yeah, but the network wants 10. Okay. So there's 4 filler episodes in the middle. I'm hoping that those are the 4 that we just watched. And we have 2 left, and now they're going to, pick things up and finish out the story, and we will kind of be on the upswing, returning to the excitement that we had in the first few episodes. So that's my prediction. That's my hope.
Let's hope that some of those filler episodes have some sort of tie-in for some reason, right? That there's something of meaning there. But I doubt it. I don't know what they would hold on to out of these 4. What inside of these 4 episodes would they hold on to be able to tie back into and make sense all of a sudden in the last 2 episodes? I think the only thing that would make sense is Rios and his love interest and the kid. That's one thing. Either tragedy is going to strike and they're going to die, or they're going to come with them. That's one tie-in. The only other tie-in outside of that is Picard and this supposed Laris, and him being able to go back and being able to say, hey, I want to marry you kind of thing, or be with you kind of thing. But that's it, because the whole Raffi and Seven thing is just irritating, and there's nothing there. Are we gonna get Legolas back, right? So, but he's been missing since the beginning, so it's not like there's a tie-in from these 4 episodes for that. So I don't know. There's a lot of loose ends to tie up in 2 episodes. It's just so they're gonna screw something up somewhere.
Can we leave Raffi in the past? Can we just
leave her
in the past?
This is another thing that they've done. They've done the same thing with Picard that they did in Disco. I hated Raffi in the beginning. I liked Raffi all of a sudden in the first couple of episodes, and now I hate Raffi again. They've ruined her character. They bad character.
You know what's one thing they did
character,
change about Raffi?
Character. What's that?
One thing that they have changed about Raffi in this second season. We have not heard JL.
Oh, thank God we haven't heard JL. Yeah. They're calling him JL.
Yeah.
No, she did that.
The season.
She's done it.
I haven't heard. She said Picard over and over again. She hasn't said JL.
She
in
says
season.
Picard. She does not say JL.
Yeah.
But still, she's just terrible.
I'm
You
gonna
know,
unmute. I'm gonna unmute everybody because we're getting down to the end here, and I think
let's
Taryn has
wrap
something he
it
wants
up.
to say because he just came back on and said, "Hey, wait a minute."
That's right. Taryn
Yeah.
wants to speak.
She did refer to him as JL, I think, when he was unconscious in the clinic.
Yeah.
So I did hear it,
Okay.
but there
Well,
is
he's
the-
not awake. He can't get mad at her.
Yeah.
But the audience can.
The audience can.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
She
well.
just, I don't know. She's got no business being a Starfleet officer. I'm
No,
sorry.
No.
But just the way
Yeah.
she has talked to Picard, the way she talks to Rios, you know,
She's a
he's the
mess.
ranking officer. When Picard's not around, Rios is the ranking officer, not her.
Yeah.
And she runs around
Right.
like she runs that place.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of mad at him for not,
Stepping up.
putting her in place. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Well, he doesn't either because I don't know. He's an interesting character in terms of his opinions or thoughts and how he handles things in terms of like a normal Starfleet officer would. He doesn't, and we haven't seen because he hasn't been, and we haven't seen him be in that role until the beginning of the season. We only saw that for like a scene or two when he was on the bridge smoking a cigar.
And I want so much more of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like the cigar thing, but those scenes of him in command on a Starfleet vessel, like that classic Star Trek dynamic.
Looks
I
like
want to
it.
see more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see more of that. Enough with this stuff.
Yeah.
Let's just. Yeah.
Well, only got a couple of weeks, and we'll see some Strange New Worlds. So, any other feedback from our live studio audience? Daryl, Taryn, Bronson?
I went back to Stargazer when they showed that first episode. That's a lot of bridge setup or set to do for just one episode. But I'm wondering if they redressed the Enterprise episode bridge because it kind of had that similar step down. So I'm wondering if that was just a redress.
It's probably it's probably a redress of Enterprise from Strange New Worlds. They just smushed it together because it looks the same. It just looks close.
Yeah.
So they probably just
And they
moved
got those
stuff
VR
in.
walls like they have in Mandalorian, where it's literally just a background. So,
isn't Strange New Worlds filmed in Toronto, like Discovery, and Picard's filmed in
all filmed
Las
right
Vegas?
next door to each other.
Yeah, right next door to each
Yeah,
other.
they're all filmed next door to each other. Yeah.
Yep. So they can reuse, which is fine. That's good. I like the way the Enterprise looks. So I'm excited.
I do too. I think it's a nice update.
Yep. So
Can't wait for the flames on the side. You know that's coming.
Oh Lord, I don't think so.
Enterprise Tokyo Drift.
Oh Lord.
Taryn's like, God no.
As much as I like Tokyo Drift, no, I don't want to see. I don't want to see. Yeah, like nacelles with some headers on it and little extra wings on the side.
You don't want Mike talking about like he's gonna get this done because he's got family.
Oh God,
that's pretty good. All right.
I mean, think of it this way: if you're a corporate guy in film and you're like, "Well, that's $1 billion franchise. We want to be one." Throw that in.
Oh Lord. Well, Chris Pine said it. Chris Pine said it best.
Yes,
you know,
Chris Pine.
This isn't $1 billion franchise. Stop trying to be one and just make a good show.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. I'm glad
He
somebody
basically
finally
said,
said
"Stop
it.
trying to make fetch happen."
Yeah. That was pretty good. All right. Anything else, guys, before we wrap it up? Obviously, we'll be back here next week with another episode, and we'll have the season 2, episode 9 of Picard. I don't know what it's called, but whatever. And then we'll only have 2 episodes left before we get into Strange New Worlds. I'm sure there is supposed to be a break, or maybe not. Are they coming out the same, like Strange New Worlds?
They go right up to each other.
Right up to each other. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's fine.
That's okay.
I'm looking forward to it. And of course, we'll have the Orville coming up soon too. We'll be covering that. I'm looking forward to it as well. Good
the
stuff.
season finale of Picard is the same day as the season premiere of Strange New Worlds. So that day there's 2.
God, we'll have a lot to talk. We should almost do like 2 separate shows.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
when you got jazz hands from Dan, you
hold on. Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
All right, so of course, send us emails at trekcasttng@gmail.com. That's the same trekcasttng as Twitter. That's the same trekcasttng as over in the Facebook group. Look for Trekcast over there too. We've got a great, big, lively group over there that I'm not a part of. I'm not on Facebook or Twitter, sorry. But of course, over on the Instagram is trekcasttng. Send us your emails, and of course, send us emails to me too, which is chadiswrong@gmail.com. And of course, give us a phone call, 816-287-0448. Leave us a voicemail, and eventually I'll play it, unlike Strongbeards, where I waited 2 weeks with it in the voicemail inbox before I played it on the show. And of course, you can get over here on Discord, like our 3-4 live audience members have been this week. Give us your feedback live on the show. Listen along live as well. Comment. Probably make a separate channel that I'll be watching, so that even if you're in the live studio audience and listening but don't want to talk, you can just type like an on-air chat. And be able to have some feedback that way too, and maybe we'll figure out the YouTube stuff and stream this show live as well. So we'll have all kinds of way for you to consume the Trekcast content, even if you no longer have a 2-hour commute like Commander Felton does. So, how was all that for off the top?
All right.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, guys.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah,
Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate it, guys. We'll see you here again next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it, another episode in the can. Check us out at trekcast.com. Also, if you would, please subscribe to us via iTunes. Leave those reviews, subscribe to us, we'll get some numbers, get up the list, get more listeners, do more shows, have more fun. But for now, we're all done. So live long and prosper, and we'll see you next week.